Cause you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Coco's Book Nook. We are going to do a quick February TBR. I know it's a little bit later into the month, but I finished everything finally. It's been a month. I went to Cali Vibes Festival. It's a huge reggae festival that Long Beach does every year. That was the 16th through the 20th, so I really didn't get much reading done then. And then I came back and I worked 9 days straight. So yeah, it's been quite a month. But I did read. I read 8 books total. Not bad, considering that it's a very short month. And my birthday was at the beginning of the month, too. So it was a packed month. But we did some reading. I want to start with Zodiac Academy, Cursed Fates. I have been reading this. I was hoping to finish it, but I did not. I wanted to finish my February TBR before I finished this one, and this one was not taking very long, but I did get about that far, about a third of the way. So I am going to continue reading this one throughout March and just finishing it when I can. It's my mood read book. Hopefully finish it before April, because April is going to be crazy. If y'all know, you know. Go check out Cassidy over at Covers with Cassidy. Check out the Rumathon, everything. Get ready for April, because it's going to be fun. So let's get into what I read, what I finished in February. So I started A Clash of Kings in the month of January, and then I did finish it towards the beginning of February. This one is the second book in the Ice and Fire, A Song of Ice and Fire trilogy, the Games of Thrones. I did really enjoy this one. The first 2 books have been exactly like the show. There were a little bit of differences in this book, but if you did like the show, you will like book 1 and book 2, because they are very, very, very on par for what the show was. So definitely check those out if you want to. I'm not really going to give a summary, because if you've watched the show, you know what it's about. Like, it's a Game of Thrones. I don't really know what to say other than if you've seen the show, you know it. And then, second book I read, this one was on my TBR. This one was, if you did watch it, you know all my prompts. This one was my middle grade prompt. Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. I actually really enjoyed this one. I only gave it a 3 stars. I did give Clash of Kings 3 stars too. But this one is about Amari Peters. Her brother goes missing, and she gets accepted into this random summer program school type thing from her brother. She goes into it. She wants to find her brother Quentin and figure out what happened to him. She's going through this. There's stuff that happens. She becomes a warlock. And these are her powers that she has are not, they don't like them. They're, apparently these people are evil. The people that she's with, the Night Brothers, the Supernatural Affairs people, don't like the warlocks because they cause problems, etc., etc., and they're just like overall evil people. But she's trying to prove that she's good in all of this, and while she's also trying to find her brother. It was a really, really cute story. There was parts where I gasped while I was listening to it, but I did really, really, really enjoy this one. So if you're looking for a quick mystery type of middle grade book, this is definitely up your alley. Next up, I read Glow by Raven Kennedy. I finished Glow by Raven Kennedy. I started this one back at the end of August. Beginning of August, end of July. But I completely dropped it and didn't pick it up, and I think that's because it's been on my Kindle, and I haven't really been touching my Kindle, but when I was on my trip, it was just easier to pull my Kindle out than my actual book, so I did finish that one. I did give it a 4 stars. Holy Raven can throw us out into a freaking... I enjoyed it a lot. The ending... I can't wait for the next book because that ending got me. I cried. I don't want to give too much about it. If you have read the first book, Guild, definitely keep going. I have been really enjoying this series. I know a couple other people have been really enjoying it as well. And then next up, this one was on my TBR for Contemporary. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I gave this one a 4 stars. I should give it a 5 star, but there are some aspects in here that I did not like, but overall, I was there in a sense throughout this book. This book is about domestic violence and everything. It doesn't get too deep into it. It actually shows you into like the first steps of what happens and what you're going through and what you're thinking. This one definitely didn't go as far as what happened to me, but I still, this is what I felt, and it was not hard to listen to, but it was in the same sense because I was there at one point, but I was also proud that she got out before it went too far. But everything that Lily felt and everything that she was going through, I had felt at one point in my life, and that's why I gave it a 4 star, and I do go looking at it, I can see why people really don't like this book, but I think coming from that, it was a really good representation of why we don't leave it first. And there are people that don't leave at all. I was lucky enough that I walked away, but there's some things in here that really do go through our heads and why we haven't left, because there's a point where we don't want to lose everything that we have built with them. Some of them brainwash you into thinking that nobody loves you anymore and this is all you have left. And to some point, that is all you have left. And I was very close to that. But it was a hard one, but it was a good one, and I do think that people should read it just to have that awareness and not victim blame people for, oh, you decided to stay, blah, blah, blah. I got that a lot because I stayed for a while, but I left. And I liked it just because it was awareness to me, but I know a lot of people don't like it because of the domestic violence aspect in it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this book. Next book I read was These Infinite Threads by Tahir Mahaffey. This is the second book in this series. This one was for my new release prompt. I did give this one a 4 star. I did not enjoy this one as I did the first book. I really, really, really enjoyed the first book, but this one was just... I don't know. Like, I liked it a lot, but it could have been a little bit better for me. But I did really, really enjoy this one. And I can't wait for the next book because it kind of, I don't know, you need to read the books before I kind of dive into there because I really don't like to spoil series on my channel just because I want you to read them for yourselves and get to that point. But I did really enjoy it, just not as much as the first one. Next up, I've read Ink Witch by Lindsay Spark. This was my ebook prompt. I did end up giving this one a 4-star as well. I didn't really go into this one thinking that I was going to like it very much, just because it is a Kindle Unlimited book. But I weirdly liked it. It's about this, I don't know if they're aliens. It was Najari. I gotta look it up now. Okay, so Ink Witch is about this girl. Her name is Kate Dubois. She's 38, I believe, in this one. She's from kind of another world. She's immortal. And the way that I was kind of getting at this is they're kind of alien type things. But they're gods as well. It was kind of a little bit confusing on exactly what they were. In the synopsis on Google or on Goodreads, I'm not seeing exactly the name. But this guy that she's known, he's kind of like the top leader type of situation. He comes to Kat. This guy has been missing for like 3-4 years at this point and just randomly shows up at her tattoo shop. And he's like, hey, your brother Dom is missing. And she's like, wait, what? And so they're missing a bunch of their kind of people. And then also a cop shows up and was like, hey, I heard you do private investigating, PI stuff, blah, blah, blah. Can you help me with the case? And she's like, I don't work with cops. Nope. And then a little bit later, she's consulting her tarot cards. And all of her type of people have different quirks, different powers type of thing. And hers is with ink. With tattoos, with her tarot cards, the paint on her walls, etc. And she made these tarot cards specifically, like painted them, everything, which I think is absolutely cool because I love tarot cards. So she consults these cards and she realizes that both cases are intertwined. So she starts to work with this cop. Stuff happens and it just kind of all comes together and then all just kind of blows apart at the same point. And it was my type of book. I actually really enjoyed it. So if you like chaos, if you like ink tattooed, witchy type of women who freaking ride motorcycles type of situation, like, it was a good book. I liked it. It was very enjoyable. I gave it a 4 stars. I did start this one as an ebook, and then it kind of switched over to audio towards the end just because I wanted to get it done. And then after that, I read Wild is the Witch. This one was the and of a and prompt that I had. I really liked this one. I didn't like it as much as The Nature of Witches, but this one wasn't bad. There were some spots that I was kind of like, okay. I did not like Pike Alder in the beginning, but towards the end, I'm like, okay, I kind of like you now. There's a spot towards the end that I'm like, you're just gonna walk away after all that? And then it continued, and I'm like, okay, I like him again. I don't remember what her name was. Iris is a witch. in the name of the book, she had her best friend a few years before this happened, turned a boy that she was in love with into a witch. And he wanted this, but he burned alive because of all the magic in his system, etc., for me and all of this. It explains it better in the story. So her best friend went to the magical jail system or whatever, I can't remember exactly what it was, and she lost her sense of witch. So Iris has been very careful. Her mom and her picked up and moved after the incident because of stuff that was happening where she was at. Her dad stayed and let her mom and her just leave. But this one is about Pike annoying the fuck out of Iris, and her grandma had taught her this type of spell type situation just to clear everything off of her, like just letting it all go. So she creates a spell and she gives it to the earth. Well, when she was doing this curse on Pike to make him a witch, what was it, an owl? It was a very, very extinct, her mom bought a sanctuary to where they house animals. She's got a wolf that follows her around, etc. Yep, it was an owl. And the owl swoops down, steals the curse, becomes an amplifier. If the owl dies, the curse comes out, and whoever is in the vicinity, including Pike, becomes cursed. So she goes on this journey. The owl was in the sanctuary for a broken wing, a injured wing, something like along that line. And he flies away and just disappears. So she freaks out and like, I gotta go get this. And her mom's like, take Pike with you. And she's like, And then they ended up going on an adventure. And I actually really liked the ending. I think it could have gone a little bit a different way, but it did end on a pretty good note. And I did enjoy it. I did give it a 4 stars. The audio was great on it, if you're wondering about that. And then the last and final book, I actually just finished this tonight right before doing this. Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. I loved the All the Stars and Teeth series that she did, and I was like intrigued by this one. I loved this book. There was some stuff in here that I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying it. Wait, what? I'm like, oh, I thought we solved this. Nope. Okay, and death? So this one is about Signa Farrow. When she was a baby, her mama threw a, party, and it ended up with everybody at the party dead, except for Signa, and death has been with her since. Every household that she gets sent to, somebody dies. Signa is thinking that death is doing this on purpose to make her life difficult, but once you get through the story, you learn that death didn't mean that, and he's protecting Signa in very weird way, but it's death, right? So her great aunt or something along that lines dies. Her final guardianship. Her parents had left her a huge inheritance, but in order to get it, she has to be 20. So throughout her years, she's with these guardians who get a huge sum of money from her inheritance to help take care of her until she gets to the age where she can inherit it. So her great aunt dies, and then she gets taken to Thorngrove, to live with her uncle and her cousins. And she's really, really trying so hard to make this her last place. Because she turns 20 in 6 months, and she just wants it to be done. She grows attached to both of her cousins, and kind of somewhat her uncle in a way. Her aunt passed away, but Cygna's thinking that she was murdered. So she's trying to figure out who in the hell killed her aunt, and her aunt is a spirit, and it was like, dude, somebody killed me. You need to protect your cousin Blythe, because she's dying of the same disease that I am. And so Cygna can see the dead because she's protected by death, and blah blah blah. And it was really, really, really good. The killer, I was not expecting that. I'm like, wait, whoa, what? Okay. And looking back, there's so many signs that I completely missed. But I'm just like, okay, I really, really, really enjoyed it. I'm definitely picking up Foxglove, which is the second book in the series, and the ending threw me because I was not expecting that. Because if death is alive, so is fate. And that was... And I'm like, pick it up. I gave it a 4 stars. It should be a 5 stars, but there were some spots in here that I was kind of like, this is dragging. Can we get to the good stuff? Like, it wasn't very much. It was only like 20-30 pages, and towards the middle of it that I'm just like, okay, let's move. But this one is definitely a high society type of read, with that very, very, very mystery thriller aspect in here, and I enjoyed it a lot. And that concludes all of my books that I have read for February. To sum everything up, I read 6. I listened to 6 audiobooks. I read 1 physical book, which was Belladonna, and then I read 1.5 ebooks because I did listen to half of Inkwitch. Sadly, most of my books were fantasy this month, coming out at 8, and then I had 1 romance. Yeah. If you know me, you know I love my fantasy type of books with that extra aspect into it. It's usually romance or a mystery thriller fantasy type of situation. I love my witches. I can't go wrong with witches. Adult books, I read 3. I read 1 middle grade, 4 young adult, and 1 new adult, which I would classify more as adult aspect. Did I fail my TBR? Technically, yes. But it was March 4th. And I finished all of my books. I just did not finish them in February, but if it was a normal month, I would have passed. I'm accepting this as a win because I did finish all of my February books 4 days late. But I finished all of them. And given that I had 2 weeks worth of everything between my big trip and working nonstop for a week and a half, I'm accepting this. Next up for March, I'm not filming a March TBR video for this month. There will be no Nerf Topple. And the reason behind that is I have 2 huge vlogs that I need to actually put out for you guys. I've been putting off my 23 and 2023 video for a minute because I kind of wanted to wait until the craziness had ended, but right now, between February and April, this is a good time to do it, so stay tuned. There will be one video that is a series vlog that I am currently doing. I'm also going to be doing my 23 and 2023, which is just recommendations from a bunch of people of books that they think I should read for the year, which I kind of want to start and at least give you a little bit of something for that. At least do half of it in this month. See where we get. I really don't think I'm going to have very much in there. I might not have a March wrap-up. If I read other things, like if I finish Zodiac Academy and read something else, because there are a couple other books that I want to get to, I might do a small wrap-up, or I might just do a third vlog and be like, hey, this is what I'm reading. Have fun. But yeah, that's kind of it for February. I actually had a really good reading month. I actually enjoyed a lot of the books that I read. So stay tuned for those 2 vlogs, maybe possibly 3 vlogs for the month of March. And thank you for being here, and have a wonderful night, everybody.
Out to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see